And I are so excited to talk with you guys today. We've talked in the past about woe is me parenting, but today we're going to talk about the whoa fun part of parenting. So buckle up. We're about to hit you guys with a bunch of fun ideas and verses that actually support why we're supposed to have fun and bond with our kids. This is Rebecca Messer. I'm the co host for the Training Them Wisely podcast with our host, Renee. If you would please take a brief moment to give us a 5-star rating and leave a review, it helps our ministry to grow and continuing to help other parents. Renee speaks at church events and conferences teaching parents and grandparents how to grow in their walk with the Lord while discipling their children and grandchildren because authentic, loving discipleship matters.
So today we get to talk about the fun part of parenting because being a parent is fun.
It is. And it leaves you, instead of going, woe is me, it leaves you with that, like, whoa, we're about to have so much fun. I mean, if my kids, they know if I say, do you want to go on an adventure? They're ready. Like, it's time.
So one of the verses I wanted to say, it's one I used to sing to Katie all the time whenever she's a kid, Proverbs 17:22. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. So we're called to have joy, and having children, being their parent, can be a really joyful time, and we can have a lot of fun with them. I was telling Rebecca, we were talking about this before we started recording this. And one thing a few years ago, Eric, my husband, and I were like, it would be so fun if we could keep the kids up. And we had this plan that we wanted to do. And we looked at each other and we were like, we're the parents. We can keep them up late. So we did. And we had a really fun family night. And so we're going to talk about fun ideas on this podcast of different things that I've done with my family over the years, all ages, boys and girls, and ways that we can enjoy our children.
Yeah. And I was just really excited because, and it was interesting because there's a concert tonight at church.
Yes.
And even this morning, there was a lot of emphasis on having joy in our Christian walk because we are more than conquerors. We are victorious in Christ. And as I was thinking about this, the Bible literally doesn't have a verse that says, go and have fun with your children. Not in there. However, I feel like we can draw from some of the principal things without too far of a stretch. When we were talking about different verses, something that came to mind immediately was Ecclesiastes. And yes, you're like, wait a minute, isn't that where, it's like vanity of vanities? All is vanity. Yes. Which is why I think the verse that talks about redeeming the time because the days are evil, I think it's really important that no matter what we're doing, whether it's working as to the Lord or it's having fun as to the Lord, we should be focused on Him and have that purpose in whatever we're doing. Because one thing I think that Renee and I have just tried to emphasize over and over again, and will continue to, is we need to have purpose in our parenting. We need to
Yes.
have purpose in our grandparenting. And so one of the verses is in Ecclesiastes 3. And this is kind of the passage that talks about a time for everything. And it goes through all of these times for everything. And then it talks about the God given task of work.
Yeah.
And towards the end of that passage, it also says in verses 12 and 13, it says, I perceived that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live. Also, that everyone should eat and drink and take pleasure in all his toil. This is God's gift to man. And I'm a working mom. I stay at home and work. So I'm still with my kids, but I do work from home. And one of the reasons that I do this is so that I can have fun with my
Yes.
kids. And that's one of the purposes behind why I work is so that we can afford some of those extra little fun things. And so, Renee, start us off, like hit us with this list. What are some of the ideas that we have for everyone listening today?
Okay. I do want to say one more thing. Relationships really and truly matter. Just like we were talking about how loving discipleship matters, the way that we can really disciple our kids is by having these fun relationships with them. And some of the things that I remember most from my childhood are surprises that my mom and dad would do that were just out of the ordinary, that were a lot of fun. And they got to my heart. And I want to have my children's hearts. So
They're
one
those just
thing.
because.
Yeah, just because we want to and for fun. So one thing that I did is we don't eat a lot of sugar in our house. We actually went years without sugar. But I made brownies one morning for breakfast. Granted, they were made with okra and stevia, but you've had them. They're good
Oh
brownies.
yeah.
You like them.
They're
And
called
so
Cry No
that
More
was it.
brownies. They're delicious.
They are delicious. And my kids were so excited. They couldn't believe that whenever they woke up in the morning, they said, "What's for breakfast?" I said, "Brownies and ice cream." They were like, "What?" So talk about a fun way to start their day. So that's one thing that we've done. We have done scavenger photo hunt. Like they're so much fun where you actually do a scavenger hunt. And so we have all of these different things. We do this a lot of times for holidays. So we did like a Thanksgiving one and we paired up into groups and as quick as you could, you had to do it. And then we have the competition at the end where you get to see everybody's picture and the grandparents are the ones that decide. So it's like who gets done first? That one's obvious, most creative and most best use of a prop and things like that. So we have all these categories that we can win and get,
That's so
a
fun.
piece of candy or a quarter or whatever for. So that's one thing that we've done that's a lot of fun. And you've got the photo memories to look back on. We've done escape rooms. You can find those online. That's for the older kids. They really enjoyed that. For my girls, you do this with your daughter too. You paint her nails. You've done the spa days at home. That's fun. And then just do things differently. It could be anything. So whenever it comes to mealtime, because that's whenever our family does get together, surprise them, have it packed in a basket and go eat outside. They love it whenever we do stuff like that. Or go on a hike and go eat by the lake. We've done theme
And
night.
spring is over, so
Yep,
most of the pollen is gone. Now, the
it
heat you have
is.
to contend with,
The heat's awful right now, but
but still, like, you don't have the stuff that's gonna, like, choke you and kill you most of the time when it comes to pollen. Because here in North Carolina, it just drifts, the yellow pollen.
it
So
does.
now is the perfect time to get outside and eat with them. They love
Do
it.
a breakfast picnic because
Yeah.
then you don't have to worry as much about the heat. We've done dress up nights, which are fun, where we do a formal dinner and we've had everybody being responsible for a different course of that meal so that everybody gets to choose. And it's been hilarious because we've done one before where you don't talk to anybody else, you plan what you're doing. And so you might have Italian and then Asian and then, so it's just you get this whole plethora of food. That was really fun. And we've done just different theme nights for different countries as we've been learning about them, stuff like that. That's a homeschool thing that can be fun to do. Um, One of my favorite things to do growing up was board game night. We had the best time every single Friday night, pretty much every Friday night that I can remember. We would get together and play games, and my mom would make those no bake oatmeal cookies on the stove for us. Those are so good. And sometimes we'd have popcorn, but it was so much fun. And we would just spend hours playing together and laughing together and enjoying each other. You could read a book. Whenever your kids are riding bikes, surprise them and go outside and ride bikes with them. Whenever they're playing basketball, stop, take a break, go play basketball, go play soccer in the backyard. I have a son that loves soccer and he loves it whenever I surprise him and go outside and get involved in the games. Um, you could do something like baking. We have some kids that love to bake, and you could do something more complicated that they could learn. You could do sourdough bread, or you can make cinnamon rolls, or things that take time, and your children are getting to anticipate it coming. We have dance parties all the time, and the kids really love it whenever daddy and I get up and dance with them. Now, it's obviously much more mommy than daddy that dances, my husband, but every
Mine
once in a
too.
while
He's
he'll
like
do
got
it.
the robot, like he's so stiff. I think all he can dance to is like 4/4. So he marches and gallops around with the kids and they still think it's great, but
It is. They could care less.
moves he has not.
We go camping in our backyard or inside. That can be, and that's fun to just surprise them with, and all of a sudden be like, "Hey, guess what? Tonight we're all sleeping outside, or tonight we're setting up a fort tent that we can sleep in." I know it's
Listen,
summertime.
camping inside was my favorite form
Fun.
of camping. Is it like we just would set it up in a living room or we had like a little sunroom area and we would set up the tent and it was great because the bathrooms were right there. It was
Yes,
temperature
nice and
controlled.
comfortable.
Bugs didn't eat you. It didn't rain on you. I mean, camping inside, it's great. Highly
It is
recommend.
fun. And doing things that are traditions. So at Christmas, whenever we put the Christmas tree up, we actually fan out around the Christmas tree and we lay down with our heads underneath it and look at the lights and have a sleepover out there. So that, that's the little tradition that we've done as well. What other things? Um, Oh, we have a lot of fun acting out Bible stories. And this is a way you can disciple as well. But my kids have enjoyed doing that. They make their little movies of the Bible stories. And it's great because they go back and they're looking at the verses over and over again. But oh my goodness, whenever dad or I play a part in it, it's just so much more exciting for them. And the best one ever, my husband is huge. And David and Goliath, we did that one with David whenever he was younger. And so there's David and there's Goliath. And he had a paper ball that he tore up for his sling, that he wadded up for his sling. And then he at daddy, flung it at him. And then daddy dramatically fell over. And he really liked it, because his name was David. He got to do that.
Oh
But
yeah, he probably thought that
just
was great.
getting involved with them whenever they're playing, every opportunity that you get, like whenever my son wants to build a blocks, I try really hard to say yes a lot because they're not always going to ask for that time with me. So I guess those are really two things. I love to do things unexpectedly, but I also love to say yes. When I can say yes, I try
Well, it was
to.
like even before we were going to record tonight, my son looked at me. He had his birthday yesterday and or his birthday celebration, and he had gotten this Lego set and he wanted to build it with me. And I was thinking, I've got to start recording a podcast. But then I thought, you know what? We are literally talking tonight about having fun with your kids. And so I was like, well, so we built it and he had the best little time building this Lego set with me. And it's little ways. And then I took my daughter to the concert. It's just weaving that us time with the
Yes.
kids because again, the goal of all of this is not just fun for the sake of fun. It's to knit their little hearts to yours because, in Psalm, I think it's 127, it talks about them being arrows. And we're literally training them to send them out into the world. And
Yes.
so by having fun with them and by connecting their hearts to ours, it increases our opportunities for discipleship and for intentional conversation because it makes you more approachable as the parent, especially if you have teenagers. They're gonna wanna have fun. They're gonna wanna bond with you before they launch into the big heavy topics that they're trying to wrestle with life's greatest questions on. And so all of this, while you're looking at it, especially if you're somebody who's not prone to want to have a lot of fun, you're just very task oriented. You're very like, why is this necessary? Okay, hear us loud and clear. Like, this is so important.
It
Make
is.
this a task if you have to on your to-do list because you need the hearts of your kids because
Yes.
you want to take those little hearts and turn them towards Jesus. And the whoever's spending time with them has the most influence. And so it's just so important to have fun with the kids
Yes.
because they're learning through play,
They
they're
are.
connecting through play. Um, one of the ideas that I really liked that you had was the old photo night. I don't know if this is the same one that for you as it is for me, but I do like a family yearbook and we will spend time going back through all of the things that we've done. And the kids absolutely love it. They're hilarious because they're like, where was I in this? Well, you weren't born yet. Um, but it's a nice way to also reflect on with them and weave in an intentional conversation. Look at everything God has brought us through.
Yes.
Look at how He's been faithful to us. It's that, um, that you hear in the songs about
We
talking
will
about an
remember.
Ebenezer's.
Yeah, the ebony. Yes, exactly. And we're
And
supposed to tell our children about what God has done for us. That's what we're supposed to do is let those generations know things that God has done.
yep. And you can do this through having fun. You can do this through telling story time, your Bible story, acting it out. It's a way for them to cement further stories of God's faithfulness
Hmm.
from the beginning of time.
Yeah. We've done family puzzles, which I know your family really enjoys doing puzzles.
All about it.
That's really fun. We love hiking, so that's something we do. We play charades. Okay, now this one's fun too. Okay. I did this years ago and I haven't done it in a while. And I remembered it recently, so we're going to do it again. But we have a Christensen family holiday. So it's your own holiday that you make up once a year. And you get to decide as a family what the tradition is doing it. So I haven't done it in a while. I don't know why we stopped. I think we stopped when I was sick with one of my babies. And so we're going to resurrect that idea, but it's just something fun that we do. And it's a memory that they're going to have. And that's
It's
another
unique to
idea
your
that you
family.
can do. Yeah, unique to your family and whatever it is that you enjoy doing with your family. And just saying yes. My son tonight at the concert before I went up on stage and was singing, was he asked me to dance with him while we were sitting down. So I did. I danced with him. It was adorable. So that was another saying yes. And they all had the best time at the concert. It was a good concert.
It was.
I've done treasure hunts before for the kids whenever they wake up so that they can find I've hidden their breakfast. I've like so they wake up and have to go through and find it.
Hunt for
And I've
breakfast. I love it.
Yeah, just different things to make it different. Oh, this is fun too. We've done decorate your doors. And so we'll have a timer set and everybody gets to work together on their doors using construction paper and tape only and markers for the construction paper. And you decorate your door as quick as you can. You have 1 hour and then we'll, have a judge. Usually daddy can go through or the grandparents. We've done the play restaurant in the house so that whichever your favorite restaurant is, you just have fun making the copycat versions of it. We've done minute to win it's. Those are a lot of fun. We do those over the holidays. They're good memories that you can have. Okay. One of my favorite long-term things that we've done, my kids love snowball fights, but they hate getting snowballs in their face. And my mother-in-law bought us a few years back. Before this, I was using match the socks and then make them into a ball and use those as snowballs. But they have even softer ones that are like fake snowballs. They don't cost
We
that
have
much
some.
money. You have some? Yeah, my kids love doing snowball fights.
They
And so
pitch them everywhere.
it's really fun as a mom whenever they're in the middle of their school or something and somebody's stressed about something and it just needs to lighten the mood for a minute to put them in my shirt, like a little handle and go and start throwing
And
snowballs at
listen,
everybody.
it's about to be July, so Christmas in July is coming. For those of you who are all
Yep,
about Christmas, I mean, we're there.
we
So
are
get it
there.
ready.
And as hot as it is this year, it would be really nice to have something like that.
Kids love
Um,
things as simple as a slip and slide.
they
Or my family, they
do.
had those little,
Yes.
remember those little crazy daisies that sprayed you just everywhere?
Oh yeah, I loved those as a kid.
They were fantastic. I mean, the screeching and squealing as you're trying to escape the water because it was cold coming from the hose. But it was so much fun. And my mom could watch from a distance and they still thought it was great because she was watching us be silly, but she stayed dry. So if you don't want to get wet, just maybe keep your distance.
We had a really fun night one time where because the kids were all so shocked. They were like, "What are you doing?" I made all of the kids go into our big bathroom together and us two. They're like, "What are you doing?" And then I turned the lights off and then I had a flashlight and they were able to do all these different shapes on the walls. We had the best time doing that. I mean, that took no time. It was just something different for them to be able to do. It was fun. And indoor bowling. We have a really long hallway, so we enjoy doing that. And that can be really fun. We have gotten the plastic bowling pins as well. But it can also be really fun to get to pick out things around your house that you want to knock over that don't break. So that's something else that we've done.
Emphasis on things that don't break,
Yeah.
especially if you have toddlers.
I have lots of things that don't break still. With 7 kids, having a lot of things that don't break is a good idea.
Huh?
So those are just some of the ideas. What other ideas do you have? Do you have any other ideas that you've done that are
I've
fun?
seen one before, and then one of my friends, she just did this with her little girl, where you take a bowl of water and you take a bunch of waterproof toys, you put them in this bowl of water, and you freeze it, and then you give it to the kids the next day with a little tiny water squirt thing and a little, screwdriver and or hammer, and they just have a blast unfreezing all their toys. It's a nice way to keep them occupied for quite some time. One friend did it one time. Her kid was like, "I'll just get hot water," and it was over in no time flat. And I'm like, "That's what happens." So maybe emphasize they just have to use those tools. We play a lot with my kids with magnet tiles, where we hide stuff with magnet tiles or they build. Um,
We've done paint with water outside. That's a lot of fun for the kids.
mhm. Mine love doing things like you can get those little cheap from Dollar Tree. You get those little cheap water plastic gun, like the little cheap water
Oh
guns.
yeah, we got water guns.
Oh my goodness, they have a blast. Priscilla thinks it's hilarious to the ants that get on our back porch. She just sits there and she just water squirts all of them. Of course, it doesn't affect them at all because they're used to deluges of water. Um, so there's lots of fun outside with water that you can have.
And you pick up the gun too and join in with them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Just like whenever you got Nerf guns recently, you made sure that you had some for mom and dad so that you can get involved in the play as well.
We did. So I just really want to encourage you guys for the rest of this week, for the rest of this summer. We're not talking every day. We know that life can't just be one giant bucket of fun. Be nice. But just look for maybe even if you've never done anything like this before, start with something once a month. Start with something once a week. Pick something that's doable, realistic for you and just try it. Do it and it becomes addicting really fast. And when you get to tell your kids, "Oh, we're doing X, Y, and Z," or surprise them, it's just really fun. And one thing that I've done is I'll ask my kids, I'm like, "We're gonna do a surprise today." They're like, "What is it?" And I'll be like, "What do you think it is?" And they will tell you what they think is the most fun thing
That's
currently in
so
their
true.
minds. And
That's
whatever it is
very
that they
smart.
say, if it's reasonable, you're like, "Oh," and, off you go to do whatever it is. Because like, for my daughter one time, she just wanted to go outside, slide down the slide in her little bathing suit into the pool. We've got one of those little red slides in a little tiny pool that you barely can splash yourself in. She had a blast. So, just ask them. I mean, kids are the master of fun.
They are. They are. All right, so that's our goal this week. Try and come up with one thing at least fun to do with your kids and just get their hearts, get in there and enjoy life with them. Have fun, laugh, but enjoy it.
Thankful for you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.